Okay, I think the camera stopped for a minute. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can continue. Okay, I think I'm back on the air. Okay, so after the recycled materials are picked up curbside, they're sorted and cleaned, and then the materials are processed. And so office paper becomes paperboard, lead, gold, and mercury removed from complex components and then reused for other components in a type of salvage. And then some items that contain recycled materials are newspapers and paper towels, aluminum, plastic and glass containers, and steel cans. And then they also used recovered glass and asphalt, and they call it glassphalt. All right, and so purchasing recycled products closes that loop. And governments do that, businesses do that, and then individual consumers can close the loop, recycle loop by buying recycled materials. There are some criticisms about recycling. The fact that the cost and energy used in collection outweigh the cost and energy saved in new production, and that jobs produced by the recycling industry can be a poor trade for the jobs lost in logging, mining, and other industries associated with virgin production. Some critics argue that while recycling may create jobs, they are often jobs with low wages and terrible working conditions. But recycling supporters counter that the jobs that recover virgin materials create even worse jobs. For instance, timber harvesting and ore mining are more dangerous than paper recycling and metal recycling. Okay, so that can, kind of shows both sides of the issue, kind of similar to the economy is, up, the economy is bad, jobs are up, jobs are down, kind of back and forth that we saw with the Des Moines Register and the Kansas City Star. There's also two sides of the recycling issue, too. And as long as there are statistics to support both sides, there might always will be. But in terms of the history of recycling, scrap metal, such as bronze and other metals, were being collected in Europe and melted down for reuse. This is because there was a lack of public waste removal in the densely populated areas. For that reason, they collected the coal dust and they used that for brick. And then even rags were used and recycled for what they call shoddy wool. And so the Industrial Revolution created demand for affordable manufacturing materials. Iron scrap metals were cheaper to acquire than virgin ore, and then railroads purchased and sold scrap metal during the 19th century. Steel and automobile industries purchased scrap in the early 20th century. And during World War I, peddlers collected machinery, pots and pans, and other metal sources. And so during the Second World War, the governments got involved on an organized level to encourage their citizens to donate metal and then reuse, reduce, and recycle as a gesture of patriotism. And in the 1970s, the rising energy costs kind of encouraged people to recycle as well. And today we have legislation that supports and encourages recycling, including mandatory recycling collection, container deposits, and then refuse bans. Along those lines, we also have illegal dumping, and Bill Stowe did explain that in depth as an issue, and this is a response to an article from the Indianola Record Herald about a serious illegal dumping problem. But anyway, it does happen, and hopefully that, we'll find solutions for that as well, too. But there's more legislation that's aimed at industries, and that includes minimum recycled content mandates, utilization rates, procurement policies, and then recycled product labeling. One criticism of the legislation, recycling legislation, is that it reduces flexibility by businesses. But still, in the United States, the Environmental Protection Agency mandates the purchase of oil, paper, tires, and building insulation from recycled sources whenever possible. And so we can look online at some sites that deal with, that delve into, recycling. One is the Environmental Protection Agency. I can get them online. And you can take a look at their website there. This is the Environmental Protection Agency, and they do have a recycling section. OSW Conserve Recycle HTM. All right, so this is recycling according to the Environmental Protection Agency. According to them, recycling protects and expands U.S. manufacturing jobs and increases U.S. competitiveness, reduces the need for landfills and incineration, prevents pollution by manufacturing of products from virgin materials and saves energy, decreases emissions of greenhouse gases, conserves natural resources such as timber, water, and minerals, and helps sustain the environment for future generations. And so that's the Environmental Protection Agency. I'm going to take a look at another website that you can use for reference. And this is here in Des Moines. It's the Metro Waste Authority, mwatoday.com. This is our Metro Waste Authority, and they have an FAQ section that kind of describes what the Metro Waste Authority does, and all sorts of questions. What does the Metro Waste Authority do? How long have you been in business? Why have you picked up my garbage? Why haven't you picked up my recycling? Why is the collection of recyclables every other week instead of weekly? Do I need to sort my recyclables? And where do I take plastic bags to be recycled? Everything you could ever wonder about recycling here in the Des Moines area is pretty much answered here at the Metro Waste Authority. And then there's another exciting, that I think is a very exciting place on the web, and it's the Des Moines Habitat for Humanity. And I'm pulling up their website for a specific reason, because they have something that's called a restore. If you go to dmhabitatrestore.org, you can pull up and see what the restore does. The Restore is an organization that sells new and gently used home improvement materials to the public at discount prices. And so it's a form of recycling that benefits the Habitat for Humanity. And it shows how you can donate your materials. And I think it's just terrific. I met someone from the Restore, and apparently their inventory includes cabinets and lighting and plumbing fixtures and doors and lumber. And they clean up that material. They make it presentable, make it usable for the general public, and then they sell it at a discount. And it's for a good cause, and I think it's just a great form of recycling that you can see the direct benefit of. But anyway, that's the recycling for today. There's so much more that we could discuss on that issue. But again, like energy efficiency, it's something that everyone can participate in at different levels, whether it's on an individual basis in your own homes, whether it's part of a business, or whether it's closing the loop by purchasing recycled materials, for instance, from the Restore. It's a terrific concept, in that, it goes back into ancient history, and so something that we can kind of carry forward. All right, so that's the show for today. Thank you so much for watching, and be safe out there, Des Moines.